this is Russ. I'm here to do the long-awaited bike review. Yeah, I've had this bike probably for, what has it been, a month and a half, 2 months maybe? I don't know. It's been a long time, but our weather has been so terrible that every time I want to go out to do it, it's either snowing, raining, windy, you name it, we had it. So finally, let me show you what we have here. This is the Euphree Stellar Falcon. Now I have two of these bikes. Yeah. First off, let me apologize to Euphree for taking so long to do this review, but they have been great about letting me take my time. Yeah, this is actually the third bike from Euphree that I've reviewed. I've had the City Robin X, the City Robin X Plus, and now the Stellar Falcon. Now, the Stellar Falcon, they gave us two of them. This is the mid-step version, and there is a step-through version. I'll show you guys that one in a little bit, but comes in various colors. Let me do this. Let me stop here for a second. Let me take this thing off. Yeah, that is the that is your cell phone mount. If you have like an iPhone or something, you can buy one of these cases from them, and that just mounts directly right on here. Cool. All right, let's get into this. This has a lot of features, so we're gonna take our time, try to get this thing done right. So I took the phone off because I do have some notes on here, so I don't end up missing anything that I really want to tell you. So, okay, let's take a look at some features first, and then we'll go into specifications and the like. So as you take a look at this bike, you'll see that I actually have two of the optional items on there. I have the front basket, which is an option, and I have the rear basket, which is an option. Okay, the metal fenders do come with the bike. The rear rack does come with the bike. Okay, so where should we start? It's just so many things. I'm not really sure where's the best way to start. Okay, let's just start here. Okay, so the saddle. Now, some people have mentioned that this saddle seems a little thin, but I'll tell you, it does have some cushiness to it. It's not so bad, actually. It's thin, but it's actually pretty decent. And the Suntour seat post helps out too, because that is a suspension seat post. Of course, you also have the front suspension on the front fork, which is, of course, preload, and adjustability is available there too. So yeah, it really makes the ride a lot easier. The other products from Euphree that I had also had the same things, and it does make a difference. So this is a 8-speed Shimano, what should we call this, trigger shifters. Yeah, oh, I like their bell too. And the nice part too about this is the grip is locked, because these are made by Velo, and it does have a locking grip, which means it's not going to spin on you, and they're nice and cushy as well. So it's made out of rubber. I like these a lot. Front headlight. We've talked about this on the other reviews with them. This is a very powerful front headlight. All right. Tires. Let's go through the tires here. And the tires are Schwalbe Johnny Watts tires. These are a little bit different than some of the tires that you might be used to. It's not quite 4 inches, and it's not quite 3 inches. It's not quite 2 inches. These are 27.5 inch tires by 2.8 inches. So that makes this bike kind of like a commuter bike, but it also can go off-road too. Now, some people like the fat tires. As you know, I like fat tire bikes, but there's times that, you know, the additional drag that you get from large tires kind of eats into your range. So this is kind of a cross between the two. So I don't quite call this a commuter bike, but neither do I call it, you know, a fat tire bike that could go totally off-road. It's kind of a both type of thing. You can do both. Yeah. So yeah, I think this actually is the better way to go. I kind of like these tires. They are very aggressive tires too, as you see, but they're not super noisy either. So that's kind of nice. We do have Tektro hydraulic brakes on here. Tektro brakes are always really good. And as far as the rotors, we have 180 millimeter rotors, which a lot of people like to have. Okay. Now I added a couple things to this as well. I added a side view mirror, which I always do. Okay. And of course I added a bottle cage. You have two bosses for the bottle cage. You can put it here between the battery and the top tube, or you can put two cages up there if you like. I like putting it between because then it doesn't get in my way when I put my leg over the mid step. Okay. The battery is integrated into the bike. Let me go on this other side. We have some better light here. It is integrated. So this battery will give you 15 amp hours. It's a 48 volt battery, 15 amp hours. That's 720 watt hours. Okay. It is lithium ion, of course, and it's LG cells. Now, our bikes are RUL rated, so that's a nice thing. All right, what else do we have here? We talked about the Shimano shifter there, but this is the Shimano Altus derailleur, and it does have a Bafang motor. Now, Bafang motors, of course, are very well known. They have one of the best motors out there. It's a 750 watt sustained motor at 1200 watts peak power. So we've got a lot of ability with this particular motor. The handlebar stem, I can't talk today, is adjustable. You can, as you notice this one, I almost have it almost vertical because I want to get it closer to me. You can move it forward if you want. You can move it further back if you want. So it has this good adjustability on this one. And that, of course, is standard with the bike. There's a thumb throttle on the left-hand side because, you know, when you have trigger shifters on the right-hand side, there's not a lot of space left. So this is a left-hand thumb throttle. Works real well. And then they did upgrade the let me see if I can turn it on here for you here. Yeah, they did upgrade the control screen up here too. And I'm going to show this to you inside because outdoors always makes things a little bit difficult to see. So I'm going to show you all the stuff that's in there. But I think the main thing people are really interested in is the fact that this bike has the ability to go between a torque sensor or a cadence sensor option. So in other words, you don't have to buy one or the other. It comes with it on both things on this bike. You choose which mode you want to ride in. I think that's what most people have been waiting to hear from me, is how good is that torque sensor, how good is that cadence sensor. Well, we'll talk about it. I've ridden this bike for a while now, and I have some feelings about it at this point. All right, let me show you the display screen and how we can change some of the functions here. I'm going to turn it on. I decided to do this inside because it's a little easier to see. Now there's several modes available here, and this essentially is like your pedal assist. They call this Eco, Tour, Sport, and Turbo mode, okay? Now if you have it on Eco mode, oh, and there's also manual mode too, I should tell you that. So that's essentially like doing no motor helping you, all right? Just doing it all by yourself. So most people are gonna be anywhere from Eco through Turbo. So there's a certain speed that you can go to when you're on these settings, okay? And your thumb throttle is basically geared towards whatever these things are set for. So if you're in Eco mode and that goes to a certain speed, then your throttle will always go to that speed as well. Or you can just go ahead and put it all the way to Turbo mode and just throttle the speed with your throttle. If you're using the throttle, you can go to whatever speed you want then at that point. So a lot of times I just use Turbo mode, okay? To get into the advanced functions, you just hold both the plus and the minus button here, and you'll see that there are display settings, information, language, themes, password, Bluetooth, factory reset. So if we go into the display setting, you hit this button here, which is your power on off button. It'll show you units. You can change the unit from metric to imperial. We are imperial, so we set that. You can turn on and turn off the bike based on how long you've left it and not used it. So auto off Could be set for 5 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever. Or you could just simply say never turn off the bike if I don't even touch the bike, and that would be auto off. But I have it at 5 minutes, so if I don't touch the bike in 5 minutes, the bike will automatically shut itself down. Trip reset, this is how you reset your trip meter, so I'll just reset it at this point. Say yes. Okay. Brightness level is, how bright do you want the screen? And it goes from anywhere from 30 to 100%. All right. So I'm going to leave it at 50%. Start strength is how powerful do you want this thing to start, in terms of, do you want it to kick in right away if you're like in cadence sensor mode, you want it to start real quickly, or you want it to be a little slower. We have it on number 1 at this point. Throttle, you could either turn on or turn off the throttle, okay? I have it on because I use the throttle quite a bit, but if you don't like using the throttle, if you want to turn this bike into, a bike that's strictly pedal only, you can do that. Okay, well, I'm going to leave that on. Drive mode is where you choose whether you want a torque sensor or a cadence sensor. Right now I'm on torque, but to change it to cadence sensor, all you do is you move the thing to the plus thing and you hit OK, which is basically the power switch. Okay, so if you go back and look at it, you'll see that cadence sensor is highlighted still. I personally like the torque sensor on this particular bike, so I'm going to leave it on torque. And back brings you back, okay? Language, you can change the language. Of course, we're in English at this point. Themes, it's just different colors that you want the theme to be at. The display on theme 1 is your typical default. Okay, so that's activated. You can set a password. I never set passwords on my bikes because in case I forget the password, I don't want to be locked out of my bike. Future things are Bluetooth, we don't need that. And you can reset to factory settings if you like, and then you can exit. Let's get back in and see if there's any other goodies here. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all we really need to know. So that's the display screen itself, in case you want to make any modifications. Now let me also show you how the basket gets on and off. Okay, now the front basket, of course, that's screwed on, all right? But the back basket, I'll move my tripod here, make it a little easier. So to take this basket off, all you have to do, there's a clip on the bottom here. And I just put my hands back here and I feel for it. And then I just pull back on it. You have this light, rear tail light in your way sometimes, but it's a little thing that sticks out here, and then this thing clips right here. So it clips on there, so you just kind of line it up and snap it in place, okay? There is a handle for the basket too, so you could actually use it as a regular basket. And again, going underneath here, pulling back on that. Oops, sorry, bumped the tripod. And it'll just come right off. It's great. I mean, if you want to carry other stuff that doesn't require a basket, you have a regular rack. That gives you a basket. You carry your own watermelons and stuff in there. All right. All right. Did I cover everything as far as feature-wise? Let's go into some of the specs, okay? So spec-wise, let's just go down the list here. Top speed on this bike is 28 miles per hour. The weight of the bike is 73 pounds, okay? I have taken this bike to about 29, I think 29.3 miles per hour pedaling, okay? I was able to do that. You can throttle up to there too. Oh, people probably ask about, does this thing ghost pedal? That's always a concern. Let me say this, no ghost pedaling. No ghost pedaling. I did not experience a single ghost pedaling even at 28, 29 miles an hour. And that's because the chain ring, by the way, the chain ring is, has things in the front and the back of the chain ring, so the chain is not going to fall off either way, okay? The gearing ratio is a little bit different here, okay? You got 50 T, so 50 teeth on that chain ring. And on the back here, you got an 11 by 32 T. And because of that, no ghost pedaling. Yeah, that's a nice thing, huh? Yeah, most of the bikes we've had before have some type of ghost pedaling, but not on this bike. Okay, so we've covered that. Stem is 105 millimeters, fully adjustable. Okay, and the The pedals are Welgo. Welgo is a pretty well-known brand. Pretty much most of the bike companies use Welgo. You know, different styles of Welgo bikes and stuff. So now there's a rear tail light here. Okay. It is flashing when the brake hits. When you hit the brake, the thing will flash, and it'll signal people, letting them know that you're stopping. It's about a 220-degree visibility on there. Now the Tektro brakes we mentioned, and that of course has full motor cutoffs. So when you're braking, it will stop the assistance of the motor. Now the suspension we talked about real quickly, but we didn't go into the specifics. This is an air suspension system, okay? So this is not just springs, this is air suspension on here, which is kind of nice. All right, I think I covered most everything I want to tell you. Oh, seat post height adjustability. Yeah, you can go pretty high on this one. So 5'1" to 6'2". That's a large range, but that's a very long seat post in there. So it will allow you to go either way. Okay, they have a stated range of 70 plus miles. Most of us know that that's really hard to achieve, but it can be done. I mean, if my wife was riding this bike, she might be able to do the 70 plus miles because she pedals all the time and she's fairly lightweight. But typically when you have ranges like that, it's, you know, on a flat surface, you're not going up and down hills or anything like that. 73 pounds for this bike. All right. Nice. Okay. Let's take it for a ride. We'll talk a little bit more about it, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the cadence sensor versus the torque sensor. Then we'll do a hill test on it and see how it does. All right? Stay tuned. All right, let's take a look at these two bikes. Now I have a step over version and a step through version. The step over is actually a mid-step version. Take a look at that one first. We recorded this a little bit earlier. We had to do it in segments. I did notice that the Euphree logo is now smaller than in the past. I actually kind of like it that way. And then the name of the bike, Stellar Falcon, is on the seat stays. It's on either side. The Shimano Altus derailleur is here. And as we noted before, we have a Bafang 750-watt motor that peaks a lot higher. The metal fenders are included, as well as the rear rack. The Suntour seat post is included. This is the suspension seat post. It makes a big difference when you're riding. And as far as the chain is concerned, you have guards on both sides of it, so this chain is not going to fall off either way. And then the Schwalbe Johnny Watts tires are very aggressive, but very quiet still. The badge in the front has the Euphree logo on there. That's kind of nice, so it's still there. And Tektro hydraulic brakes, as well as the front headlight, which is very, very bright. The bell is included, and of course trigger shifters for the Shimano shifting, so that's kind of nice. You can get an optional cell phone case to mount on there, and of course it's a left-handed thumb throttle on here. Now if you take a look at the step through version, you'll notice that there's branding actually on the suspension in the front, but it's not on the other one. Well, they were debating whether they were going to include that branding or not. It's made by SR Suntour, so you might get it, you might not. Who knows? The colors are different on this particular bike. This one is the black cherry. In certain angles, it kind of looks a little purplish, but in other angles, it looks kind of black. So overall, these are very nice bikes, something I think you should definitely take a look at and experience for yourself. So anyway, that's the two bikes that we have. Let's go ahead and take it out on a ride and see how it does. All right. Let's give this a test ride. I've ridden this bike for a while now already. So I already have opinions already on it, but let's talk a little bit about it as we go along here. Now I mentioned that the bike can do both torque sensor or cadence sensor options within the display screen. Okay, you can change that in the advanced settings. I currently have it set for torque sensor. So how does it feel? I think this is what everyone's been waiting to hear from me since I've announced that I had the bikes and wasn't able to go out with it. Pretty much all of my viewers know I've had this bike for a while now. Well, here's the lowdown, all right? Many of the torque sensor bikes that I've had have been a little difficult for me. As you know, I have a replaced knee and I don't have a really strong left leg because of it. And so torque sensing has always been a little difficult for me. Some of the bikes, you really have to put some effort into pedaling in order to get a good ride and decent speed out of it. It makes it difficult for me. So it got to the point where I finally just said, you know what? I'm a Cadence sensor bike guy. Yeah, because it just makes it easier for someone like me. You know, I was overweight and have a weakened leg and knee. Cadence sensor, right? So how is the Cadence sensor on this bike? It's pretty similar to most other bikes. Yeah, it's nothing really different than you expect from any other Cadence sensor bike. It starts up, you can adjust the startup time of that Cadence sensor. You can have it start right away, or you can have it delay a little bit. Depends on you. Some people like to delay it because they don't want to have that jerking motion where it kind of jerks you real quickly, and you want to kind of work up to it, right? You can adjust that speed of time of when that thing kicks in. So what about the torque sensor on this bike? Yeah, this is probably my favorite torque sensor bike. Yeah, they did a really good job on this one. First off, there's no ghost pedaling on the Cadence sensor. Let me say that first off. Let's get back into that real quick. I have not had this thing ghost pedal on me at all because of the gear ratio set up on it. So when I moved it over for torque sensor after testing out the Cadence sensor option on it, let's hit this first here. Just let people know that we're crossing. And this guy's gonna, I don't know if he's stopping. He is gonna stop. Thank you. All right. And so when I moved it over to the torque sensor, it's very responsive. Yeah, you put the effort in, you get the effort out of the bike, all right? The more you pedal, the harder you pedal, the more the bike reacts. But I didn't feel tired out using this torque sensor bike compared to some of the other torque sensor bikes. I felt really comfortable with it as I'm working with it. They have several modes on here, okay? Let me drop it down here so I can tell you all the name ones. There's a manual mode, which means it doesn't do anything. It just rides like a regular bike, okay? There's no motor help at all. There's an eco mode, there's a tour mode, there's a sport mode, and a turbo mode, okay? Now obviously if you put on turbo mode, when you're pedaling, if you don't pedal hard, like right now I'm not pedaling hard, it's an easy ride. It's still torque sensing, right? When I start pedaling harder, we start moving on this thing, okay? So you don't need to worry too much about, you know, is it going to be too fast for me if I'm on turbo mode? No, just don't pedal as hard, okay? You do have speed adjustments for your gears right here. You have a downshifter here, and then the back here, where my index finger is back here, that's the upshifter. So you can go up and down on the gear shifting. So if you're going up a hill, you want to gear down a little bit if you want, right? If you're going down a hill, you might want to gear up a little bit. It's just like any other regular bike. So here's what I'm going to tell you between the turbo mode, the torque sensor mode and the Cadence sensor mode. I think I'm going to be leaving this bike on the torque sensor mode. Yeah, and most often I'll probably leave it on turbo too, because that way if I want to pedal harder, move quicker, I can do it. If I don't want to pedal harder, I could just easily pedal, you know. I could easily pedal and go to the speed that I want. So yeah, and just shift with the gear shifter here if I want to make it easier for my legs and my knee, right? All right, so we're gonna be approaching the hill test pretty soon here. And here's how we do the hill test and how we've always done it. What we'll do is we'll get to this hill and we'll stop, or stop as much as we can before we fall off the bike. All right, and then I'm gonna throttle this. All right, now what we'll see is that the bike will start moving up in speed, and it'll start slowing down as we getting up that hill. We want to see how fast this bike can go just on the throttle alone. Okay, now if you pedal it, obviously you can go over the hill with no problem. All right, many standard bikes without e-bikes have a real hard time over this hill. So I see a lot of people pushing their bike to get over it. Okay, so here's where we usually stop. Okay, well, let's just actually stop. So we're at 0, all right? And let's just go. Now, I'm on the turbo mode, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just throttling the whole thing anyway. I'm gonna go up this hill. We'll see how fast we're going up at first. We're doing 20, 20.2. It'll start slowing down in a minute here. 16.6, 14.6, 14, 13.1, 12, 11, 11.2, 11.0, 11.0. So it goes over the hill at 11.0 miles per hour. That's quite respectable. Is it the best? No. We've had other bikes that do better, okay? But I didn't really expect it to be the best. And the reason is because even though it is a 750 watt motor, it is a slightly smaller motor back there. Because you remember too, these are not big 4-inch fat tire type bikes that have, you know, the big, huge monsters motors back there. They're kind of thin, right? So 11.0 is very respectable for this bike. Now, if I was pedaling that, going over the hill, yeah, no problem. You'd be going a lot faster than that. But that's not how we do the test, okay? Now, for some other specifics for you, because people always ask, you know, what's your weight, all that stuff. I am 5'10". I have an inseam of 30.5 to 31 inches. For those people who want to know, you know, when you step over this thing, is there an issue? No, it's a mid-step bike, which means there's a lot of clearance for you there when you straddle the bike. I am currently 238 pounds. Okay, I lost 30 pounds. Uh-oh. I see a truck in our way there. I don't know whether I can get through there. I think they're working on stuff. All right, I'm gonna turn around. I don't think they're gonna, I'm not gonna be able to make it through there. They have a truck on the bike path. So they're doing some maintenance. So we gotta go the other way. Let's turn around. So yeah, I'm 238 pounds. Going over that hill. So I'm a heavy rider, you know. Past bikes that we've done in the past, I was in the 260 ranges, something like that. So I did lose some weight. All-time high since we've been doing these e-bike things was 268. So yeah, I'm down 30 pounds. So that helps a little bit too, I'm sure, because the heavier you are, the tougher it is to ride over hills, of course. All right, let's do a little bit of pedaling here. Again, we're still on torque sensor here. The ride is very smooth. I like the ride of this bike. It's because we've got suspension all over the place here. We have suspension in the front fork. And of course, on the saddle, I have the Suntour seat post suspension. That helps a lot, yeah. Now that comes with the bike. It's not an option, it comes with it. That of course brings the price of the bikes up. So what is the price of this bike? $22.99. $22.99. That's a fair price. Now you might say, well, it's a little more than some of the others. Well, they're giving you a lot more too. You have to kind of look at it that way, all right? I mean, you get a suspension seat post, you got ear shocks in the front. You got a choice between cadence sensor versus a torque sensor. You have a 750 watt motor that peaks higher than that. You have the ability to do 28 miles per hour on this bike. So is it a class 2, class 1, class 3 bike? What is it? It is a class 3 bike, but it has the ability to throttle past the 20 miles per hour limit. So it will throttle to 28 miles per hour as well. Many of these bikes do that. Technically, I guess pure Class 3 bikes should be 28 miles per hour, pedaled only, 20 miles per hour, throttled only. Okay, but no, you can do it such that it will go to 28 miles per hour if you throttle it if you want. Okay, you have that option to do that. Personally, I like that. I mean, really, what difference does it make if you're throttling it or pedaling it? If you're doing 28, you're doing 28, right? That's just my personal feeling on it. So yeah, it's a nice riding bike. It feels good, it looks good. There's several colors available. There's this red color, which I kind of like. My wife likes it as well. There's a plum color. The plum color kind of looks a little purplish, brownish purplish in the sun, and then in certain other angles it looks almost black, right? There's a black option, black one. I think there's a blue one as well. So there's several different color options available. Go take a look at the Euphree website. Use the affiliate link that I have in the description of my videos to get there. If you order a Euphree bike, it helps me out if you use that link, okay? Yeah, overall I like the feel of this bike. Now, let me tell you some history of Euphree and the Russ is Right channel. As you know, I had the other models before. I had the City Robin X and the City Robin X Plus, and I liked both of those bikes. It was the bike that I used typically when we did our commutes to go grocery shopping. My wife and I would go. Of course, we rode the Euphree bike to do that because it has the double baskets on my bike. I usually carry all the groceries. I mean, because, you know, groceries could weigh down the bike a little bit, so my wife usually says, you carry it. So the baskets were always on my bike. And, yeah, let's go ahead and pass through here real quick. And it's nice to have one in the front and the back. I mean, I even, I'll show you an older photo here. Thank you. You'll see a photo here of the watermelon on the back of one of the City Robin X Plus bikes. Yeah, it's kind of nice to have that, right? Yeah, sometimes you don't want all the weight in the front, right? You want the weight in the back. So, you know, you put a heavy watermelon, you stick it in the back of the bike. It's the way to do it. We always garner a lot of people looking at us too, because he goes, there's this guy riding there with a watermelon on the back of his bike. I don't care what they think. It was convenient to do it for us, so we do it. But yeah, this is a nice bike. All their bikes have been nice so far. Now it's a little bit different feeling than the City Robin series. Handlebars on this is not quite 100% straight across, but it's very close to straight across. The other bikes, the handlebars are kind of curved back a little bit. And then on those bikes I put the side view mirrors. I had them on the bar ends. This one I have it up here. So what I did is I moved the display screen in a little bit so I can get the left-handed side mirror on here. Do you have to peek over your shoulder a little bit? Yeah, your shoulder kind of gets in the way a little bit, but it's no big deal. You get used to that. Most of my bikes I put this mirror on there, so I'm used to that. What about other performance issues? Is there anything that's not good on the bike that you don't like so much? Well, I'm gonna have to move over here. On your left. Thank you. And this is not a fault of the Euphree at all. This is just the way I think the Bafang motors are. Bafang motors, I've noticed, tend to have a little bit of a whining to it. you can definitely hear the motor, right? I mean, most of these bikes you can hear the motor. It's not like you don't. This one you can hear a little bit of high-pitched whining to it as it goes. Some of the Bafang motors are really, really loud. Yeah. This one is a little bit less noisy, but you definitely hear the whine of the motor going through. It's not offensive, but just something that you need to know. It's not going to be silent. I don't think any of these e-bikes really are 100% silent unless you have a really small motor and you have a belt drive and all that kind of thing. But otherwise, you will hear the motor a little bit on here. Now we got a little bit of headwind hitting me right now, so that makes it a little bit tougher sometimes to ride. But I'm on the torque sensor right now, and I'm able to ride this with no problem. So if you're fighting a headwind, what I usually will do is I'll lower the gear over here. So I'm currently on gear, what does it say? Gear number 5. I am on the turbo mode. So I don't feel it. You know, if you didn't mess with your gears and you're fighting the headwind, yeah, you'll be pedaling a lot harder. But yeah, I don't feel it at all. I could hear it though. It's just kind of coming up against your ears. Kind of hard to hear what you're talking. All right, so I'm gonna throttle and pedal to get up this hill. And let's go ahead and make a turn here. There we go. Let me show you some riding footage here for you. So I've been doing this review in segments. I've mentioned this before in the past, that this is the one review that I'm not doing continuously. I'm showing things in segments. I'm doing some inside shooting, and I'm also doing some segment shooting for the riding portions. We've had a lot of difficulty in weather, and that's prevented me from going out continuously. And even with the wind blowing against me, it was difficult to try to even do the hill test because with the wind blowing against you, it would skew that hill test. It would slow it down dramatically. All right, so what do I think of this bike? Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it. It's becoming one of my more favored bikes, I think, at this point. I haven't ridden it that much, and I already like it quite a bit already. So is it a Russ's Right approval? Yes, it is definitely. Would I recommend you buy one? Yes, I would highly recommend you buy one. Alright, let's see if we can get through here. We're gonna get killed by the dog here. Okay. Thank you. Yes, I would highly recommend you look into this bike. Costs a little bit more. It's okay. You're getting a little bit more as well, right? People are out here playing pickleball. Pickleball is big out here. All right, I'm gonna wait until we get onto the street here. We're gonna open this thing up and move a little bit quicker. All right, yeah, I'm still sniffling. Yeah, it's still a little chilly out here. Today's about 60 degrees right now. All right, here we go. Let's get onto the street. Now I'm gonna move the gears up a little bit here. We'll take a right turn over here. Now this is a slight incline here as well as we go up this street, but I'm gonna pedal it and we'll see how we do. 22, 23, 25, 25.5. That's as fast as I can get it based on my inability to ride harder. Plus we have a little bit of wind blowing up on us. All right, let's throttle it. 25.5, 26, 25.5, 0.6. So you can see, even as I pedal, all right, 27, 28, 29, 29. So I'm throttling at 29.2 miles per hour. As I'm pedaling, because of my inability to go any faster than that, I was only able to get it to, what, 25 miles per hour? But you could throttle it faster if you want to. You could pedal it too, I just don't have the ability. This is the problem when you've had a replaced knee and everything. But yeah, I fully expect you will be able to pedal it to that speed as well if you wanted to. All right, so yeah, there we go. So yeah, I approve the bike. It's a good bike. I highly recommend you look into it if you're looking for something like this. Again, like I said, it's not quite the commuter bike because it's, you know, it weighs a little bit more and it has a little bit thicker tires, but neither is it a fat tire bike either. It's kind of a combination of the two, and that's what made it unique. The ability to go from cadence sensor to torque sensor or back, whichever way you want to do it, makes it unique as well. So, hey, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Take a look at the Euphree bikes. Use the affiliate link to get there. Talk to you guys next time.